We're live, gang. We are live. Your Saltwater Guide. It's Okuma Wednesday. You got Bill Varney and Captain Dave Hansen hanging out here, and we got our good new friend John hanging out with us from down in beautiful Louisiana. And he's got this company. This is his company, River Cats Tackle Gang. Justin Bottrell is going to be joining us in a few minutes, and he's the one that had us all stumble onto John's show. It's a pretty fun show, gang. It happens on Sundays. John's going to talk about it a little bit. Bill and I are totally fascinated with this, John. We're like hanging on every word. We've been talking for a few minutes before we went live here, and we are super excited to learn about the garbage that you guys have to put up with, because Bill and I talk about the garbage we have to put up with here in California all the time. But you're kind of blowing our minds talking about what you guys have to, just to catch a catfish, Bill, just to catch a catfish.
Crazy.
It's crazy because where I stay at, where I live, if I had access to the river, it would take me the sum of 5 minutes and I could be fishing. But the way they got us locked in over here, I have to hook up to the boat and travel 20 miles to launch a boat and then travel 20 miles back down to fish some good spots.
It's absurd.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm the type that, I work all day, but, sometimes in the evenings, you'd like to just go fishing. And that would be a good spot because at that time of the day, the sun's coming down and, everything over there on that bank shaded. So why not go hang out on the river for a while? But can't do it because we'll go to jail.
That makes no sense. Public access.
We can't cross a piece of property that our taxpayers' dollars built and maintains. That's crazy because it's literally sitting on private property.
That is amazing. And how does that help the environment by dragging your boat 20 miles and burning all this gas and then driving your boat 40 miles because round trip, burning all this gas? That doesn't help anything in the environment if that's what they're interested in. That's what they keep telling us that it's all about.
It's crazy because on an average, if I do a good trip, I make a good trip. Because you see, I got spots from the boat launch all the way down south. And if I do a good trip, that's close to 35, 40 gallons of fuel.
Wow.
Just to make that fishing trip.
And gang, if you just join us, and we're getting a pretty big audience here now, I think it's because we got John on here, Bill, and they're like, what the hell?
They ain't here for Bill. They ain't here for me.
What the hell's wrong with that guy's voice? Oh, gang, we're talking. I've stumbled into John and his gang over there because they have a show on Sunday nights, which is pretty interesting. And they're up against the same kind of garbage that we're up against here in California, which blew my mind because I think about Louisiana and all the water down there and all the great things that go on down there as far as fishing with sea trout and redfish. And I couldn't even imagine regulating catfish. And then I was just listening the first night. Justin told me to come over, John. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. They're up against the same garbage we're up against. And then I kind of overheard you and Tank and a couple of your other guys talking about how they're grabbing your fish out of your water and then taking them and stocking these pay-to-fish ponds. And I'm like, what are we doing, Bill? It's everywhere across the United States. They do not want us to fish.
I'm going to be that one guy that gets in his truck Friday morning and I'm going to check some local boat launches that we got because, I'm going to find out if there's any hanging around. It ain't right. I mean, they're easy to spot because they come in two trucks. One's with a boat and one's got a trailer with live tanks, So
yeah, John, kind of explain, because everybody's just jumping in here, man. The audience is going quick. Bill, look at, I don't know if you can see it, Bill. We're at 71 people right now. It's kind of insane.
That's great.
Gang, you got to understand what John's talking about here, gang. They're taking a fish that basically John and all of his gang grew up fishing for, and they're coming in at night and they're catching these things by, we don't even know the number, John, you tell us. And then they're taking them and they're dumping them into these pay to fish ponds. It's just kind of explain to everybody what's going on. I thought this was super interesting when you guys were explaining it to me.
yeah, it's what they doing is you know what a pay pond is. Most people do anyway, but most of them are stocked with farm raised fish.
Right.
You know, there is a bunch of pay ponds that do that. You know, that's cool, that's fine. But when you come up across a trophy pay lake, that changes the whole ball game, because them guys is contacting commercial fishermen and paying them set amount for set size fish. And these guys is bringing in fish anywhere from 30 to 80, 90 pound fish. You know, that's trophy fish. And they don't last long in them ponds. You know, you put 12, 1,300 pounds of trophy cat in a 4-acre pond. It's going to be hard to keep them babies alive. They're not going to last long. And that's what a lot of us is fighting. You know, on our end down here in Louisiana, it's not quite as bad, but the further north you go, the worse it gets. It's bad on them on that end.
And so Bill and I are involved with an organization called California Conservation Association, CCA, and it goes across the United States. I know isn't there a chapter down there in Louisiana,
Yes.
Bill?
Sure is.
And so are they helping you guys at all, John, or do they even know about this? I'm sorry, I'm going to use bad word, but this BS, do they even know?
They know. Everybody knows. It's just they use this, well, it's legal for them to catch them, and it's legal for them to sell them.
Live. Wow, that's unusual.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if we can't get enough people together to go stand on the state capitol and raise enough ruckus, they'll never change it. You know? Somebody, I mean, if you want to fix a problem like that, you got to be the bad guy. I mean, it is that. You're going to have to be that guy. You know, it's crazy.
It really is. And you put so much at risk by being that guy and just standing up for your own opinion or your rights, because a lot, as you know, they'll cancel you. And like, there's so many people like Dave's sister, Donna, she has so much at stake in California. She's got business licenses and all these different licenses that she needs. And the government, if they don't like you, they can just come back and just say, we're not going to renew your license and you're out of business. So in order to fight back, you have so much to lose. You have to choose people like me who have nothing to lose in order to fight it. It's really sad.
You know, that's like me. My business, we started River Cats Tackle. It's a young business. We've been at it for 3 years, and I would take a chance of losing everything, you know, but if it starts here in this state, I will do the fight.
Well, you know, John, another thing, and it's like you and I just talked about before we came online here about driving 20 miles to launch your boat, then coming back 20 miles to fish. Their MO, whether it's California or Louisiana or Colorado, whether you're a hunter or an angler, is to make it so inconvenient to go fishing that you just give up at doing it. And it's just like anything else in life. Why do you think all the kids are on their phones constantly? It's really easy and really convenient. It's not convenient to go to the library and look up a book and read it. So that's exactly what's happening. And they're doing that to you. They're doing that to us, making it so inconvenient. Like, this area is closed, or you can only take this and this, and you have to have a PhD to figure out what the law is. And then if you break the law, quote unquote, it's not like they come back and say, hey, let me explain what it is, and here's a warning. It's like you get a $2,000 ticket. So you can't make a mistake. And so you err on the side of, I'm not even going to do the sport because I'm so afraid I'm going to break the law. And that's their MO.
Yep. I mean, they can do what they want. I mean, even if they make me drive 12, 14 hours, they're still going to have to face me because I'm going to fish.
Exactly.
I'm going to fish. I've been doing it all my life. And I don't plan on quitting until I can't move.
Exactly.
And something that we've learned, though, Bill and I, we've pounded our head against the wall for years and years and years. And this year, we learned something very valuable. First of all, last year, we saw this guy. We can't say his name because it'll get us banned from social media, but we saw this guy, this orange guy, get elected president because we, the people, got tired of the crap. And then Bill and I had a wild idea. Let's get our group together and see if we can't go to these Fish and Game Commission meetings. And if we show up in massive numbers, I'll bet you they're going to have a hard time pulling this crap, for lack of a better word. So we showed up. The first meeting, there was 150 of us. And Bill will tell you, he's been to 100 of these meetings. There are never 150 people ever going up against these people. They didn't know what to do. They were blown away, and they were like, blah, 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 and they were spitting out a bunch of garbage and telling everybody how great they looked, and not even talking about what they needed to talk about.
Exactly.
And it would scare the hell out of them. And then we did it again and showed up again and really scared them. And then what really was crazy, John? The industry, the people that were supposed to be fighting to keep this, they got super jealous of me and my gang. And they were like, oh, Dave, you can't do it. I'm like, I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm an American citizen.
You're making waves. They didn't like waves,
Me and my people, we just figured it out. We, the people, for the first time in the history of the United States since they signed the Declaration of Independence, now we understand. We're taking back America. We, the people. We're taking back the catfish ponds. We're taking back all this woke crap. John, there isn't any woke people walking into River Cat Tackle, are there? There's nobody coming in there with pink hair and Birkenstock sandals, right?
Not at all.
No.
I mean, that's like us. I mean, y'all know the tackle world is a cruel place. Mm-hmm. It really is. So if you come out with something, if you bring a new product out, like we did with our hooks, then, I mean, come on. Who's going to spend the money to make German alloy steel hooks? This idiot. But it's a good product. They're durable. They hold up. They don't rust. I mean, but yet and still, we catch 7 kinds of heat from coming out with that style of hook, And the crazy part is, our hooks is not a catalog hook. It ain't. It was designed by fishermen. And that's what you do with it. And yeah, as usual, like you say, here comes the heat, But hey, bring it on. I'm used to heat. I live in Louisiana.
Exactly.
I saw you were watching the show a little bit yesterday. I had Michael Folks and Tom Rowlands on the show yesterday, Bill. And Tom Rowlands kind of did the same thing Michael did over on the East Coast. And like he was saying, and it's so apropos, and me and you talk about it all the time, the infighting that we all do with each other is probably the most detrimental thing that we could possibly do to this industry, because whether you like me or not, I don't care. I really don't. I don't need another friend. I really don't. But to get in there and cause a bunch of havoc against me because you don't like me has nothing to do with my message, because our message is to keep fishing open.
That's
But
it.
those people that are watching the infighting, John, those are the people that are going, this is going to be easy.
Yeah.
We can take away his catfish. We can take all of his spots. We can make him drive 100 miles to put his boat in the water. This is easy because he's got Lance over here who's fighting with Jim, and you got Seawolf over here who's fighting with Tom, and you got Jason over here who's fighting with Darren, and they're like, all right, look at these guys fighting amongst themselves. How dumb are we? We are so dumb.
But you see, that's what I mean. I got involved with a guy that at first he had a kind of rough past with his business. We got involved with him, and in the last 2.5 years, we've changed each other's side of the business tremendously, because we bettered him, but he also bettered us. You know, we worked together on doing it, and it's a great relationship. But if you try to get someone else to do the same with you, they don't want to do it. They want to fight with you.
Right. It's kind of the way the industry, we've all grown up in it. We've watched our elders all do it, and we fall right into it on accident. And the next thing you know, we're like, what are we doing? Why are we fighting amongst ourselves? Why?
That's it. I mean, come on, let's do this together. We can all get a little piece of the pie if we take some time and work together and slice it right.
But like Bill and I talk about on the show every Wednesday, if we don't start working together, there's not going to be any pie.
No.
Exactly.
No. You
know, fishing has two really big challenges around the United States. Challenge number one is all of these closures and laws and all of this stuff that takes away the right to fish. And then the second big problem we have is the lack of young people picking up the sport and finding a passion for it. And those are the two things that we certainly need to work on. And over Dave and my experience just out here on the West Coast, there are so few manufacturers, tackle shops, even anglers who are interested in picking up the fight and doing what's right to make it better. And then although we have fantastic organizations like Rollo's Kids at Sea, who all they do is take young children out onto the water, whether they're going to become an angler or just learn about the ocean. It's such a good program. And although they have support, they have so much less support than they should have. You know, we've got an organization here in California. It's our largest protective organizations for sport anglers. And although we have 1 million licensed anglers, there's only 2,000 or 3,000 people who belong to the organization that is saving fishing for the 1 million licensed anglers. So I don't know how to spread the word. We've done our best to try to tell people like, hey, if you want your business to stay in business, if you want to continue to be a manufacturer of fishing products or have a tackle shop or a landing or run a boat or be an angler, you need to participate. And 99% of the people are just like, well, we're leaving it up to you guys because you're the experts to participate and we're going to do something else.
Yeah. Well, I can guarantee you, river cast tackle is neck deep in everything that they shouldn't be in. Because I mean, you gotta protect what you have.
Oh, and for sure.
If Absolutely. You don't, you won't have it. You know,
right?
I've been on that river 54 years, so I know what it would be to lose, and that ain't happening. That ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean, think about over your life, all the things that have been taken away either from governmental actions or private property rights. Has anything ever been given back to you?
Nothing.
I mean, like nothing. I cannot think of anything unless maybe there was a court action of some sort that made it available. But once they take it away, and they're always like, we're going to take it away, we're going to review it in so many years and see if it's working or not, and then we're going to make adjustments, and our goal ultimately is to open it again. Baloney.
Yeah, that's like our boat launch that I use all the time. It was actually the ferry landing, because down here it used, where that is, it used to be a ferry that crossed back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right down the road from the ferry, they built a bridge. When they done that, the actual landowners themselves tried to shut the boat launches down, and it was a big old fight over it. But the parishes that we have, they stood up, because when they leased the property from said landowners, they leased it with a 99-year lease. And the only way that a 99-year lease is cut short is if the person that leases that property passes away.
Mm.
Well, the parish that leased the property, it's never going to pass away.
Mm.
It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
So that is the only reason we still have them 2 boat launches.
Wow.
Yeah, because as soon as they open the bridge and shut the ferry down, they automatically, immediately run over there and started blocking off the boat launch. Yeah.
Wow.
It's rough, but they stood their grounds and they got it back for us.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God. I'm going to hold on for 1 second. Down there in the bottom, we just brought Justin Bottrell. He's the reason why we're all over on your channel, John. Justin's the man.
Yeah.
Captain Justin Bottrell. That's the guy you see out fishing, live shows all the time.
Yeah.
So just hold on 1 second. I got to take care of a tiny bit of business here while you guys all hang on for a minute. John Bretza has something really cool to show you. We're getting into kite fishing right now because the bluefin are starting to show up. I know they're way out there in the middle of the ocean, but they're starting to show up. I want to show you this cool little device that John and the gang over at Okuma put together, and then we'll get right back into our really cool show right now with John, and bringing Justin in on this is going to change everything.
Hey guys, this is John Bretza, Director of Product Development for Okuma Fishing Tackle. I have one of the most exciting new products that we just launched at the ICAST show. This is called the Makaira Rapid Crank. It's developed to fit the Makaira 50 wide or 80 wide reels. And so this has multi-use applications. So it was originally developed for guys that are gonna retrieve the kite. They don't have an electric reel. They don't have to spend time wrenching down on a reel without having that electrical device. The other advantage, some guys want a deep drop for swordfish, but they don't want an electric reel. They want to drop down, but they want to fight the fish on an actual traditional rod and reel, but you're checking your bait throughout the day. So this will aid you in retrieving the bait, but when you hook that fish, you can fight it on a traditional reel. The other thing that you have is that it works as a line spooling station so that you can spool up your reels down at the boat. But the most important new feature that we found, or benefit for this reel, is that for West Coast anglers, there's a big explosion of guys chasing bluefin tuna, trolling big spreader bars very far behind the boat. Also, the Mad Max are very popular. They're running 150, 200 yards behind the boat. You might have 2 to 3 reels out there in the spread with lures out there. And so when you get bit, or you've got a boat coming at you, or you got to check to see if there's grass on the lure, you got to retrieve that lure out pretty quickly, but it wears you down. You want to be ready for that fish. This Makaira Rapid Crank, I'm going to show you exactly what happens. This is a packaging. You can see the back's got the instructions. And I'm going to open this up just so you can see exactly how it comes. So you're going to get the Rapid Crank that we have right here. And then you're going to also get this shaft, which is what you traditionally see on a traditional drill. 15-degree articulating shaft. And what this does is when you put it on a Makaira, you're going to put your Makaira in low speed, and then this is going to snap right in, and you'll see there's a little notch right here it's going to snap right on place, right? And then what I'm going to do next is you take any drill that you have on the boat, and you'll see it actually swivels a little bit. So of course I'm not out fishing right now, this is just demonstrate, but the drill's in low speed, and you'll see right there, that is a lifesaver. We were just out tuna fishing 2 days ago. We were able to stay well rested, retrieve our baits, no problem. So that's the Makaira Rapid Crank. You just pop it off if you hook a fish and you're ready to go. The new Makaira Rapid Crank comes in at just over $100, just an amazing addition to your arsenal when you're fishing offshore. If you want to find out more information on the Makaira Rapid Crank, check it out on OkumaFishingUSA.com.
I put the QR code up on the bottom of the screen right above my face, gang, so you can check it out. Rylan, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Say hi to John. Say hi to Bill.
Hi, John. Hi, Bill.
That's
so I wanted
Rylan.
to hello everyone. Go ahead.
So what are you and Rylan doing?
We just got to the boat. So I wanted to say really quick while you have the QR code for Okuma down there. I was going to get with John Bretza either this week or next week and see if I can get a couple of those rapid cranks. I'm going to spoil the news before it's going to happen, okay, everybody? So those of you that go out and you're going to troll for bluefin tuna, especially you're trolling those Mad Max, this isn't my idea. This is actually Anthony that came up with this. So Anthony with the Pokeco. So we were out there trolling for bluefin with those Mad Max, and every single time, literally 100% of the time, we would hook up with one Mad Mac. We'd have two out. We would stick that rapid crank on the side of the reel, hit it full speed while we're stopped, and we'd get a second hookup every single time. So I'm spoiling the news for everybody right now. I wanted to show everyone on the live video how well it works. It works phenomenally, like amazing. So it's a must-have. You must have this, especially if you have the Makaira reel. You're going to see us using it. I'm sure you may have seen us using it before. Maybe last year, you may have seen us using it, and then we get hooked up on it. But every single time we would get hooked up on one of those Mad Max and we have two out, we would put that rapid crank on the side of the reel and just zip, and it would hook up instantly. It was pretty cool. Now, there is some default on it. So you better have your hand and your wrist. My wrist is all messed up, but if you have your hand and wrist ready, you have to be ready to hook in to a fish on 20, 25 pounds of drag. Because when it happens, it's going to throw, Dave already knows where I'm going with this. It's going to throw your rapid crank and your drill in the water, and there's no coming back.
Personal experience.
It happened twice on me. My drill and the rapid crank went flying in the water. Think of it, all that torque on that drill, right? Like,
And then it just stops.
Boom, and it stops. It just stops. Boom, and your drill, because my wrist has like major tendonitis. Boom, flips out of your hand, and where does it go? It doesn't go in your boat. That never ever happens. It always goes in the freaking water.
So
time.
You need a leash.
So you just
a leash on your drill.
Yeah. So you just got to be ready with that. It's an amazing item. I wanted to show. I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but now that Don Bretz is talking about it, I'll let everyone know. I wanted to show you this year on the live show when we go trolling for him how well it works. It's pretty cool.
Hey Justin, how much does an electric reel cost?
An electric reel?
Like a couple grand, right? They're like $2.5 grand for an electric reel.
For what?
For pulling your kite in.
Oh, for bringing your, you can get the 500, I think, which is the better one that I'm recommending to everyone. You can get the 500 for, I think, like $400.
Okay, because my point was, like, if you can spend $100 and just outfit your reel that you can have the kite on to pull it in without paying for an expensive electric reel and dealing with hooking it up to electricity and all of the stuff that's needed to do that. I don't know if they have a battery pack now, but it seems less expensive with Okuma's product than doing the electric reel.
So the electric reels, the smallest one is like 400 or 450 or something like that. But that's just the reel itself. Now you got to get a fishing rod, and that's another $150 or more. Then you got to also get the line, which is another $350 to $400. So yeah, you're probably looking at about $1,000 at the end for that. But then you could just buy that rapid crank and you're set. Just hook that up and zippity doo dah. Just you better, if you're trolling Mad Max, you better hold on. I'm telling you right now, you better hold on. Or just buy a couple of them, because one's going to go in the water. You're going to make a mistake. I've done it a lot of times. So
the drill doesn't float?
No. It sinks so fast. And we just stare at it too. We're like, oh, there it goes. It's gone. 2. And you know what's really crappy? The first one was Anthony's. And I'm like, oh, God, now I got to buy him a freaking... And he had, of course, the most expensive DeWalt, blah, 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 blah. Great. Now I got to buy him a drill and the freaking rapid crank. And the rapid crank's like $100, $110. So the next one was was a cheap Makita drill that I bought. And that thing went flying, and I was like, well, I don't even know what to do now. I just know I'm not going to be putting my hand on there because it locks up right now. Bam.
Ouch.
There she goes.
Yeah. But you know what? You caught another bluefin. So there you go.
Yes, indeed.
So the electric reels we use on the yachts that I drive, Bill, they start at $6,000.
Oh my God. Jeez.
The LPs, and you look at all the boats in the tournaments, and they all got 2 at least, if not 3 or 4. So yeah, it can get real expensive real quick. That drill system that John put together, that system is incredible. Does it work for other reels? Probably, but not the way it works for the Makaira, because these things were put together for the Makaira. So they're the way that they're balanced, everything works for the Makaira reels. So you want to just go check it out at Okuma Fishing USA, and check it all out. I'll put the QR code back up there again on the screen, and you guys can check it all out. And hopefully one of the Okuma guys joins us on our show one day, or joins us over on our silly little website. They've been invited all the time. John Bretz has been on here many times. He was on the show or on the boat with us on Don Hanson Day, him and the president. So they make a guest celebrity appearance every once in a while.
Maybe I'll go down there and go live.
That would be cool.
Hey, Justin, have you used this setup for rockfish fishing in like 300 feet of water?
No, because I'm so scared to lose it. I just thought, if I'm going to lose it, I'm going to lose it on something big.
Okay.
So I haven't really used it. Normally, whenever we go past like 400 feet, we use the electric reel anyways.
Okay.
But yeah, it would definitely work though. If you it's going to be hard for you to hold the rod in your hand and then hit it with the drill in your other hand. And then if you get hooked up on the way up, I mean, it'd be cool, but you may lose the drill again. So
yeah, you got to figure out.
You'd have to stick it in the rod holder.
You got to figure out something to do with the leash on that drill or something. Those are too expensive to be throwing over the side. Bill, we haven't even told you yet. Justin and I have some big news right now. And John, I'm sorry, we're going to focus on this for a minute. We're still going to talk.
Go right ahead, man. I'm just
hang with us, John. So Justin, let's talk about this, because I got everybody super confused. Maybe you can make it a little more eloquent.
Yeah, so Dave made everyone's brain go brainwashed the other day. So I'll tell you, there it is right there. There's our first flyer that we're putting out. So everyone understands this is not a tournament. It's called the Your Saltwater Guide Extravaganza. And it's super easy to get in this. What it is on September 14th, we're going to have a banquet. We have a warehouse already. We're going to have a live band. We're going to have food, drinks. The Poke Company is going to be there. There's going to be some Poke Bowls. It's going to be a really, really great event. And as this goes on, it's going to get bigger and bigger and better. I know someone the other day when Dave was on here asked about shirts. That is a really good possibility. We can come up with shirts. In order to enter the banquet, it's $100 per person. Now, there's going to be a lot of prizes to give away at this banquet. So what Dave and I decided is, how about we add another spot on Your Saltwater Guide for the Extravaganza coming up? And what we'll do is, whenever you catch a fish, from now until then, just post a picture of it. We want to see all your pictures of all your fish. You're going to do it anyways. Why not post more? But every time that you post a picture with you holding the fish, or your kid holding the fish, or anybody, you're going to get a tag or a postcard when you come into the banquet. That is going to go into a hat, or it's probably going to be so big we're going to put it in a box. Okay, so it's going to go into the box, and throughout the banquet we're going to be drawing for prizes. So if you win the prize, you're going to get it, and there's going to be some really big prizes there. That's going to blow you away. All of our sponsors are all donating product, gear. Okuma is, I don't even want to tell you what it's going to be, but it's going to be worth it. Trust me. It's going to be amazing. Promar is going to be there. Deckhand Sports is going to be there. Pokeco is going to be there. Offshore Products, the splay boards, they're going to be there. Everybody that you see always on the show, they're going to be there. Now we're working on getting even more people there as well to donate stuff. I don't want to mention what it is, because if it doesn't go through, then that would be horrible. But it's going to be really big. So it's only $100 to enter to get into the store, to get into the banquet. Free food, free drinks. There's going to be no free alcohol. We're not going to have alcohol. You have to have a license for that. So there's no alcohol.
How much I love people
There's
drinking.
There's going to be a live band. It's going to be really great. There's going to be our vendors set up. So all of the sponsors and stuff, if you say you don't have something for lobster season coming up, or you don't have a certain kill bag, or you don't have a certain rod or reel that you've been eyeballing, they're going to be there. They're going to have that stuff. You can purchase it there. But like I said, we're also giving away a lot of prizes, some really big prizes. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And we hope that all of you can enter. The thing is you have to be a Your Saltwater Guide member to do it. So Dave came up with a great idea. For the time of June 15th until September 13th, you can become a Your Saltwater Guide member for only $50. Become a member for $50. That will get you a membership. You can go on there, you can post, you can look at what we're all fishing, what we're all doing. You can give us a call in case you're in San Diego, or if you're over here in LA, or you're in Mission Bay, or you're in the Channel Islands area. You can give us a call. You'll be a member of Your Saltwater Guide. Why not? And then if you just pay the extra $100, you can be in the banquet as well. So it's really cool. It's more of an appreciation that we're doing for everybody. And it'll be really cool. We really hope everyone can show up. So yeah. What else you got, Dave?
On the website itself, people are asking, any picture of any legal fish. We don't care if it's 1,000-pound bluefin or a 4-pound catfish. John, your people can get involved. Anybody that wants to be involved can get involved. Like Justin said, you become a member of the website for $50 for the 3 months of the tournament. Anybody can get involved.
It's not a tournament.
Because it's not a tournament. It's a fishing extravaganza. That's right.
Yeah.
So anybody can get involved. See, that's why Justin's here. He's my legal guy. So anybody that wants to get involved, yep, $100. And you're going to get food. You're going to get beverages. You're going to get to hang out with everybody at the banquet. You got a very, very good chance of winning stuff. The more fish you post on our website, the more tickets you're going to get in the box. It's kind of a cool deal because you don't have to have a giant fish to enter. Any legal fish.
You can have a mackerel. It can be a mackerel. It could be anything. There's no limit on what it is. We just want to see more pictures with everyone smiling faces, catching fish, going out there and doing it. So like Dave said a minute ago, he slept and said tournament. It's not a tournament. A tournament has to be where we go and measure the fish and there's a weigh-in and so on and so on. We don't want to deal with any of that. That's all. We don't want to deal with it. We just want to make sure everyone has fun. Post a bunch of pictures, put it on the website. There's going to be a section over near the community page that is for the extravaganza. Just post pictures of your fish. Please only post pictures of your fish that you're catching currently, because it wouldn't be fair for everybody
We're putting
else.
a lot of trust in you and that you guys can police yourselves. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that. But Bill Varney's surf fishing guys, everybody, every single person that's a member of the website, you're invited to participate in this. And on the website, gang, on the community section, we have Tiffany's area for rod building. We have the testimonials. We have the general where you guys are posting what you're catching all the time. There's going to be a section that just says Your Saltwater Guide Extravaganza, and that's where you're going to post your pictures. On Friday, we're going to post how to give us your $100 to get involved, because it's going to take off on the 15th of June. So I know a lot of you are like, well, I want to get it. I've already had a bunch of phone calls. As soon as my producer, Elliot, gets involved, he will have a really cute QR code. We'll have it up on the screen. That'll be how you can transfer your money into the account to be a part of this. And also on the extravaganza, everybody will be labeled on there. So you'll be able to see who's in, and then you'll get to follow. This is going to be really this is, like Justin said, a give back, but this is really to get us all involved in sharing, because what we're trying to get you to understand is we the people. If we show enough pictures, like Bill wanted pictures of the sand bass, I want pictures of everybody fishing. I don't know how else to do it than to give away a bunch of prizes. All right. And if that, maybe we'll do it so that we can post these pictures all over our social media platforms, gang, like I try to do all the time. But the same 15 or 20 people are posting pictures every time. I don't get it. I know way more of you are fishing. So Justin and I thought, and I know way more people are surf fishing, and you're not posting pictures. What if we had some prizes attached to it? And then what if we have a banquet and we feed you, and believe me, the $100 is going to be worth every penny. There's going to be so much giveaway stuff on top of we don't know what, but we know our sponsors show up every time we do anything. You guys will get plenty of stuff. You guys will get plenty of cool stuff.
And so the $100 for the banquet, now if you decide, I want to book a charter with Justin, with me on the boat, not an open party, a charter, that $100 will now come off of that charter. So it's free. The banquet's going to be free for you. And another quote on.
And then you said it was Huntington Beach. Is that where it's going to be?
Yeah, it's in Huntington Beach.
Dave.
Yeah, Huntington Beach, California.
And what?
It's a big warehouse.
What time of day, roughly?
Right now.
It's going to be in the afternoon at 2:00.
Okay. That opens up the whole morning for surf fishing.
Yeah, and plus it opens up.
Yeah.
Gang, I'm going to reiterate this. I talk about it a lot. And it pisses off some of you. No alcohol at the event. No alcohol at the event. I'm not a big.
We don't want people driving home drunk.
I don't like you hanging all over me, telling me how much you love me. I'm just not into it. I can't stand smelling your breath. I can't stand. Fishing is not about drinking. Those of you that think it is, you got this all wrong. So once again, another Your Saltwater Guide event with no alcohol. That's kind of what we do. That's what we talk about all the time. Just like we did the Don Hansen day on the boat. I didn't let him sell any alcohol on the boat that day just because that's not what this is about. This is about getting us all together as a community and trying to promote the industry that we're losing. We're losing it all over the United States, gang. And that's why I got John coming on with us to explain to you they're losing it in Louisiana.
Yeah.
So that's what we got going on, gang. You want more about this I almost said it, Justin.
It's freaking Dave. Here, let me talk for you.
Banquet.
So I'm going
damn
to.
it.
Yeah, I know. There's no competitions. There's no competition at all. So I'm going to also add, someone asked if can they still get the prizes and enter it if they're not there. Absolutely. You don't have to be there to win any of the prizes. Yes, you're going to be put into the box to get drawn. And if you do get drawn, then yes, you will win.
Yeah, and you can
Sounds
send a
good.
representative to come and eat with us if you can't make it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a long
And if you win something really good, we'll make sure that you don't get it. And Rylan
Right,
doesn't.
Rylan gets all the stuff,
No, I'm just kidding.
giveaways.
I'm just kidding.
So, Justin, are you fishing live tomorrow with Rylan? Yay!
Yes. Come up here. Are you going to be fishing tomorrow?
Are you tired, Rylan?
Oh, no,
You wish you were at school?
He is tired right now. Yes.
we're not.
He woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Nope, it was 11.
Oh, 11 last night. He
Oh,
woke up.
perfect. And played video games till it was time to go to work with Dad?
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
I need to answer 2 questions.
So let's see.
Go ahead, John.
Seawolf asked if I make moonshine. No, I'm out there far enough. I don't need moonshine. And no, I don't fish for gators, but I see them all the time.
What's that like when you're fishing? Do they ever go after you guys?
No, I don't ever have that problem. I mean, we've been on the boat fishing and have a 10-footer just ease up on the side of the boat, you know? And that
It's so funny
actually,
because the guys out here are so scared of gators and they have no clue that they're so afraid of us.
Yeah. I mean, you get further south around most of the tour guides and all of that. It's a little bit different because they feed them more and they're not afraid of a person. You know, they're not,
Yeah.
They'll come straight to the boat down there. But up on my end where I'm at, I don't have that issue.
So,
Yeah.
Justin, did you spend a lot of time in Louisiana?
No, I think I spent maybe a week in Louisiana over near like the Bayou area.
Which part? You're
But,
not sure?
You know where the long bridge is on the freeway? On the 10 freeway?
Down around Lake Pontchartrain.
Yeah. So on the very western part of it, we went out there and we took an airboat and we went fishing for largemouth and catfish. We only caught largemouth.
Yeah.
And it was all right. It was pretty cool. We didn't see that. I think I've seen one gator over there.
But
I haven't seen a lot of gators out there. A lot in Florida.
Once you right there at Lake Pontchartrain is you're starting to get into your brackish, and gators ain't too fond on salt. You know, they don't like it that much. You get a few that hang around in it, but not many.
Yeah. It was cool. There's a lot of bugs. A lot of bugs.
Yeah. The mosquitoes are really bad down here.
I was there around July, August.
Yeah, you was right in the middle of them.
Yeah, it was pretty horrible.
And hot too, huh?
Yep. Humid as all get out right there. Humid.
Drink the air.
Yep. Yeah, as soon as you walk outside, you're sweating immediately.
So when do you say, no, I'm not going outside, John? When does it get to that point? Or do you?
I don't.
It's just kind of part of life down there, huh?
It's life. You know, that's part of it. I mean, we've had days down here that was the actual temperature was 109 straight temp, and it was 115, 120 heat index.
Wow.
With of the humidity?
With 85, 95% humidity.
Crazy.
See those guys, Dave, everyone out from the south, out in the humid areas, when they come out here or Arizona, their skin turns into jerky. My buddy Luke, he's from the south, and when he comes out here, he's like, man, I gotta put lotion on every single freaking day out here. Because their skin's so used to all that moisture. Then they come out here and just dry up like
it's a big difference.
Yeah.
So
Real big.
We go out there and we're like, oh my God, we're sweating all over the place. Mosquitoes all over us.
wow.
While all the natives out there, they're like, what mosquitoes? We don't see any. We're covered in black mosquitoes everywhere.
Well, they can get pretty bad.
Yeah.
How far away are
Oh,
you
yeah.
from Brozard?
You talking about Broussard?
Broussard.
Yeah, Broussard. I'm about 45 minutes from Broussard.
All right. Don Stanley used to live there, Justin.
That's cool. I have no clue where that's at, but all right.
Hey. Another one of our sponsors, John, he's coming out to ICAST. He's going to be driving through your beautiful state. He would love to fish with you and show you his products. He makes a really cool reel seat for the rods. And I know you guys are into wrapping rods at your shop, and you got those acid wrap rods and stuff.
Yep.
Daniel Rubin, ReelQuick, he's right here. He wants to stop by and see you on his way to ICAST, show you some of his products, maybe catch a catfish with you, do something like that. So we'll give him your number and you guys can figure it out. He'll swing by your tackle shop on his drive across the United States in July.
Fine with me. I'm up for a fishing trip any day.
There you go.
But he's going to have to be ready for the heat because it's going to be hot.
John, what are you using for bait for catfish? Are you using those shiners and stuff, or what are you using?
We use what they call skipjack. It's a herring, but it's freshwater. And we use what they call gizzard shad. And me personally, I use mullet also. Yeah.
Mullet? Nah.
Cut mullet or you
have a lot of alligator guard?
It depends on how I feel that day. I can use anywhere from a cut hunk that's 6 inches long to a whole one that's 14 inches.
And are you netting the mullet? Is that how you catch them?
Yeah, that's how I get them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll run along them sandbars and stuff, and I can get them off them sandbars.
Mm-hmm.
With a throw net?
Yep.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you're running along there? I got to see a video of that.
Oh, man, we do some things now. We get there.
Pro skills.
Do you get a lot of alligator guard?
Usually when I throw the net, there's going to be a 4-footer go through it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
You ever fish them with that mullet?
Oh, I stay in deep water. I try to stay away from them.
Oh. Oh, okay.
So those alligator guards live in shallow water?
Oh, they stay around shallow water, especially if they got bait. Mm-hmm. And usually in the shallow spots we have along the river over here, I know y'all have heard of Asian carp.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Well, the gator and the gars usually keep them in check.
Oh.
So
that's cool. You ever shotgun them?
Huh?
You ever shotgun the carp?
No, that thing stink too bad.
You ever drive by and bam, bam, bam.
You better duck and hide when if you run through a pile. You need to have a helmet on. That's for sure.
That's cool.
Got a duck.
The worst happened to me was a 15-pound carp caught me on the side of the head at 20 miles an hour.
Whammo.
Yeah, it was a good smack, that's for sure. But yeah,
yeah, big snapping turtles out there.
Snapping turtles, yeah,
big ones.
They go anywhere from 5 pounds to 80 or 100.
Wow.
Yeah, the
moccasins.
What's that?
Moccasins.
Oh yeah, we got them too.
Nice.
I mean, really all you got to worry about is a water moccasin. That's about your worst one that you're going to find around the water over here mainly,
Right up on the ledge?
Pretty much. They usually hang on the bank.
Yeah.
And I'm usually fishing. I'm very seldom I bank fish. I'm usually off the boat. So I ain't got no issues with them.
It's worse when you're out there wading around in the water and a moccasin dives down in the water and you're like, oh crap, where'd he go?
Ain't happening.
So
But yeah, it's a different experience fishing for catfish.
I got a bunch of questions here, so I'm gonna try to.
You know what's cool about fishing out where John's at is at nighttime when they're fishing catfish, they get to see all the fireflies all over the place. Something we don't get to see out here. It's really freaking cool. And if you haven't experienced it, I would highly recommend someone go and experience it because it's really cool sight to see.
Yeah,
they're used to it out there, so they're like, "Oh yeah, firefly, no problem."
We see it all the time, so it's no big deal, you know.
Yeah,
but it's a different experience on catfish, that's for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's cool.
I mean,
you ever noodle? You guys noodle over there? Or is that more
I ain't
like
that damn
Oklahoma?
brave. I ain't that brave.
No. Do they noodle over there or no? Does anybody?
You don't noodle in Louisiana.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's more like Oklahoma.
Yeah, because here you got too many things that can live in the hole.
Yeah.
You know, it can range from a gar, gator, snake, turtle. I ain't taking that chance.
Yeah.
And it's a possibility that you play around in the river too much, you get hit by a bull shark.
Oh yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. Because
way too many things want to eat you there, huh?
Just about all of it.
Plus, your rivers over there, they drop off pretty quick though, right? They go like shallow, then they drop off to like 40 feet or something.
I got some spots that, I mean, we got some spots that'll get, especially around your sandbars, they get really shallow. But for the most part, it's an average of about 30 foot. And then I got some spots that'll drop off to 125, 130.
Woo-wee.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
And what kind of catfish?
Crazy.
Blue.
That's it? Just blue?
I hunt blues. I mean, they also got flatheads and channel cat, but my thing is I chase the blue cat. And
those are the good ones.
Fishing, Matt says, what's my biggest? My biggest is 100-pounder.
That's insane.
Yeah.
They got a big tail. They push a lot of water around, huh?
The fish was
they roll
57 inches.
Wow.
56 or 57 inches long. He had a 47-inch girth. From eyeball to eyeball was the same width as the top of a 5-gallon bucket.
Wow.
He looked like a giant sausage.
It's crazy. And then you can come back and you can catch a 90-pounder, or 80 or a 90-pounder that ain't but 48 inches long, but he got a 50-inch girth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on how lazy the fish is.
Wow.
And John, you keep the fish, and when you keep them, how do you like to prepare them?
I usually keep one because it's just me and the wife. I usually go out, I'll get a 30 or so. Mm-hmm. And I mean, once you fillet the fish, you know there's always a bloodline. Mm-hmm. You clean your bloodline out, and on a blue cat, across the top of his back, there's going to be a fat line about yay wide. Mm. You trim that fat line off, and then you split your fillets down. Good meat.
Mm. And you like to
you get a lot of crawdads too.
Huh?
You catch a lot of crawdads.
I don't catch them, but I buy the hell out of them. I buy them.
Yeah. That's one thing in Louisiana that we don't know how to do over here. Is you guys know how to cook that stuff? We don't.
Oh yeah, we can season you up. That's for sure.
And you guys know how to barbecue. We don't. But it's a different world in Louisiana.
It is. And you know what though? It's the same. I mean, they barbecue the same. It's just the seasoning. The seasonings that we have, it just makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and besides, I know y'all have never ate garfish.
Mm-mm.
I mean, gar, that's really good eating. You know, if it's prepared right, it's good eating.
Yeah, the other night on the show, I got to see my first garfish. I didn't know what the hell that thing was. That's pretty cool. Thank you for showing us all that. That was cool. Gang, you can watch John's show every Sunday. John, let them know where you're at, what you got going on, and how they can find you, because Justin stumbled into your show and then turned all of us on. And my whole group of
I was gonna ask him how did he find us? That's for sure.
Justin.
I just because I go live, I like started the whole industry thing in the world of going live out fishing. I started looking on YouTube and other platforms to see who's going live fishing now. And I just want to see what they're doing, what I can do to improve, like what caught my interest. And all I did is I put live fishing, and then you popped up. So I was like, oh, that's cool. You guys weren't fishing that time I seen you, and then you guys went live again. I got a little ding notice. And while I was talking to Dave and all them, you popped up, and I went over there to watch, and you guys were reeling in two catfish on the back of a boat. And I was like, well, damn, I'm gonna tell everybody to go watch them real quick. So I told everyone, go watch this.
You see, actually, we started early in the morning. We got a guy that's with us also. He starts early in the morning. It's called Two Stands Fishing. He starts in the morning, and then we got a pro staff member, Danny Stone, which goes by Danny Stone Outdoors. When Two Stands in at 12, Danny takes over, and then he fishes till around 4 to 6, depending on how they're doing. And then we take over from there till whenever, because our shows don't ever have a set time on RCT show at the end of the day. So, I mean, if you want to watch catfishing, carp catching and all of that, just start on Two Stands, and you can follow it all the way through to Danny Stone, and then it falls into Rivercast Tackle at the end of the day. But if you're looking for just a Rivercast Tackle show, all you got to do is look up Lance Makugai, the Hawaiian fisherman, and that'd be the easiest way to get to the Rivercast Tackle show. And can you believe that we have a Hawaiian that lives in Sheboygan?
That's good.
Cool. Yeah.
What in the world are you talking about, Seawolf? What algorithm is crazy?
Oh man, ain't
there's
no telling what you
cool.
see or hear on the Rivercast Tackle show. That's for sure. It's all about the people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Someone asked you ever hunt the nutria.
I don't hunt them, but they do it down south of me.
You ever taste them?
I haven't ate one, but I smelled one cooking, and boy, it was smelling good.
You ever had armadillo?
Ain't going there.
You ever had armadillo? Yeah, okay, they taste the same. They're really, really good, like a delicacy.
You eating?
Yeah, out in Florida.
Huh, that's crazy. I've never ate that.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
Yeah, it's
those
really
armadillos, they don't even look good to eat. And I was blown away by the colors of them. When I was in Florida and I saw my first armadillo, you know, I seen them on cartoons, Justin, a million times. They look silver. They look all cool. You see them in the wild and they're like a brownish beige color and they're all hairy and stuff. You're like, and they're like, those are armadillos. And I'm like, that doesn't look like the armadillos on the cartoons I used to watch.
Yeah.
They're super easy to catch. Really easy. You just go out at nighttime, get a really bright flashlight, shine it in their eyes, and walk over and grab them by the tail.
Oh, wow.
They don't bite you?
No. They'll scratch the heck out of you, though. You'll get mauled by their claws. They have real long claws.
So how many Texans does it take to eat an armadillo? Do you guys know? It takes 3. 1 to eat it and 2 to direct the traffic around him.
Oh.
Nice, Bill.
Hey, look, they got an ongoing joke down here. Why did the chicken cross the road? To prove to the possum that he could make it.
Because the possum can't make it.
Hey, there's a many of them. You find a many of them in the road out here.
I bet in Huntington Beach, where I lived for so long, we had these huge possums, and they were like 10 plus pounds. They were the size of a small dog. They were so big. They get huge.
Yeah.
Bang.
But look, he heard me talking about him, Lance McCougar. See? Yeah, I'm in Sheboygan.
You ever hunt? Do you hunt any deer out there?
Hunt. I got a brother that hunts and a bunch of friends of mine that hunt. They get some beautiful deer out here.
Yeah, you got a lot of deer out there, a lot of whitetail.
Yeah, I could have got one in the river that was a 12 point, but I left him alone.
Well, was he swimming in the river?
He swam across the river.
Yeah, they swim everywhere.
They'll swim that river without a problem.
Yeah, one day I was up at June Lake in the Sierras, and I seen a deer swimming across the lake, and it blew my mind. I couldn't quite figure out what the hell it was, Justin. I'm looking at it going, what is that thing? And he had the antler. You know, I don't know nothing about game, so he had are they called antlers or what are they called? Whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, I thought it was a tree going across it first, and I'm like, there's current in the river, and then I'm like, no, my buddy's all, no, that's a deer, dumb. I'm like, swimming? A swimming deer, huh?
Yeah.
You should see the moose up here swim. It is mind-boggling. They're really good swimmers. They can swim all the way across the lake. And then when they get out, they're like 3 feet taller than you. It's scary, man.
Dang.
Hey, you want to talk about wolves?
You have more animals out where you're at, Bill, than any of us.
Yeah, we've had this big wolf stuff. Remember we talked about that last week? Well, since last week, man, it's exciting out here. One of the wolves, so there has been each wolf was $775,000 a wolf for them to purchase them to let them go. I think they purchased 12. They've lost 6 of them so far. Now, as of day before yesterday, 7 of them. So the 6th one was found dead with a bullet hole. Boy, what a surprise there. And then check this out on the 7th one. So there was this pack of wolves. It was in the first group of wolves that they let loose. It went wild. It went over to a ranch. It killed like 4 or 5 cattle. So if you can believe this, they gave them, their whole little group of 6 of them, a timeout for 3 or 4 months where they kept them in captivity. Then they let them go again. Well, they let them go a few weeks ago. They came down the mountain into Pitkin County, which is north of Denver, onto a ranch, and they maimed 2 calves and killed 2 cows. And so they were the exact same ones. So the Department of Fish and Wildlife, day before yesterday, was required to go and shoot them. So $775,000 each. They killed another one. So it's just amazing.
What a
stupidity.
Well, like Jim Shockey said when he was on my show, it was just the most craziest thing he'd ever heard of. These selling wolves. Canadian wolves, they're selling them for $1 million a piece. He thinks that's the funniest damn thing he's ever heard of. And Justin and I, we talked about it many times. These are monsters. They're not a dog. They're not a dog where you pet them and they set. They kill for fun. They kill for fun. And how funny is that, Bill? All those potheads out there in Colorado think it's going to work if you put them in timeout.
Exactly. And then they're just like, we want grizzly bears. And you're just like, are you going to put grizzly bears in timeout when they eat somebody's kid?
Yeah, really.
These people are just not the smartest folks around.
That's true. That's like down here with the alligator. There for a while they put the alligator season on hold because the population was getting low.
Mm.
Well, they shut it out for quite a few years. Well, the, it's full swing now and has been for quite a few years, and it ain't hurting it at all no more. That's just how many they have now.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how we always want to screw with Mother Nature. We think we got a better idea.
Yeah.
Got a better idea.
Exactly.
Perfect example is those stripers.
That's
Yeah.
right. You know, here's something interesting. I was talking yesterday with a buddy of mine who's a commercial salmon fisherman out of San Francisco Bay. And I was telling him, you know, that we've discussed it on the show quite a bit and among friends. Why is there so few salmon when California has, over the last 100 years or so, has been in charge of managing salmon on the West Coast? We've spent millions of dollars on managing them. Out of the Inflation Reduction Act, they gave the state of California $24 million to study them. And of course, a lot of us just got an email today that the season's going to open for 2 whole days a year for salmon fishing. So I asked my buddy, I said, like, why is it that there's so few? And is it bad management? Or, you know, a lot of people think it's the stripers and stuff. So this is what he told me. He said they grow them in a hatchery. Their first MO was to let them go way back up the delta so they could familiarize themselves with the back delta and come back there and spawn again, which makes a lot of sense. So they let them go, but on their way to the ocean, so many of them are eaten by striper along the way. But because it's a river, some of them get through, and of course they make it to the ocean. They go out for 2 or 3 years or so, and then they come back to spawn. He said the problem with them coming back to spawn is that at the entrances where the saltwater goes to the delta, there are hundreds of sea lions. And the sea lions, they don't eat the entire fish. They're kind of similar to the bear, where they just rip out its guts and allow the rest of its whole carcass and meat and everything good to float to the bottom. At which time he said the only people who benefit from that are the crabs. And so the California Department of Fish and Wildlife came up with the brilliant idea of saying, well, we're not going to put them in the river, in the delta, and have them come down because of predation along the way. What we're going to do is we're going to grow them out and put them in a huge number in the very back of the San Francisco Bay. We're going to let them go there where they have a big bay, and they're going to spread out and go in the ocean. So that's exactly what they did. They took the trucks down there. They let them all out in the bay. Well, within one day, the striper in the bay had corralled them all up against the shore. And he said the ones that didn't die on the shore by jumping out of the water, they were so afraid of the striper, they all got eaten by the striper. So that's what's happening. That's, you know, we talk about that on the show here, where we just talk about what's the truth is and what we're told by others here, what we see, and that's what we're seeing, that's what we're hearing. I think that's what's really happening.
Totally what's happening.
When they could have solved the problem right away and do exactly like I said. California's so gung-ho about money. Put a season out or tags for sea lions. $500 a tag. They want to make a lot of money. $500 a tag. And if they did that, if you buy 2 tags, you get to come on my boat for free.
Yeah.
And we will go get sea lions.
Yeah, John, you have no idea what we're talking about. This animal, they've allowed this.
I watched him fishing the other day. The trouble he had with him.
Yeah.
They're a super intelligent animal. They're super smart. They know where their butter gets, their toast gets buttered at. They know where to go. They know. They hear Justin's anchor. They hear all the different boats, anchors at the island. They come running. They know that they're lunch trucks. They don't leave them alone. Like Justin had the other day, they had one that had a tag on it that was swimming around. These animals have been hand-fed, and then they're put back into the wild, and we think that they're not going to bother anybody. They don't even know how to hunt anymore. And then every harbor in California is just unbelievably overpopulated with this animal. I was talking to some people in the marina down here in Cabo yesterday when I was at the bank, and they're staying at one of the most expensive hotels in Cabo San Lucas. Justin and Bill, you won't even believe this. They're staying at a place called the Breathless. Starting rooms of $1,200 a night. They haven't slept for 3 days. They've been there because right underneath the Breathless is a big giant dock that is covered with sea lions. During the day, there's 10 million flies.
Ew.
At night, all you hear is the barking nonstop. And these are
So you're telling me Cabo is covered with California sea lions?
covered. It's
Crazy.
sick.
That could blow everyone's mind.
And they have that one animal down here called Poncho. You guys need to go look at this. Go look at it on the internet. Poncho, he's about a 1,200-pound male sea lion. People wrap their arms around him and get their picture taken with him. This thing, the jaw strength is 10 times that of a pit bull.
Wow.
All he has to do is turn and snap your head off or crush your skull. And you see these people letting their children hug them. And it's just like ludicrous. It's just crazy.
That's like trying to hug an alligator.
Right.
Exactly.
You know it's gonna bite you sooner or later.
Absolutely.
Yep. Are those people that get their picture taken with the buffalo in Yellowstone?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Stupid.
Exactly. You know, CCA, California, Oregon, and Washington fought for years about the sea lion issue and what their biggest what their biggest concern was that it was going up the Columbia River, and farther up the Columbia River there's a pinch point, and they were just sitting at that pinch point, and every salmon going up there.
What was it?
There you go.
You let him go.
Yellowfin croaker. You let him go.
And every salmon going up there, and this pinch point where it would jump up into this other area was getting eaten by these sea lions and seals, and there were ones just camped out there. There was one that must have had 20 crocodiles in its skin all around its face and stuff. It would eat lures and all that. And above that area was all Native American land up there, and so they were getting completely cut off from their food source getting up to where they were. So anyway, this went on, and so they decided, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go capture these. There was like 5 main ones, these big seals or sea lions, capture them, and we're going to transport them somewhere else and get rid of them. So they captured them, they put them on a boat, they took them all the way to San Francisco Bay. In a week, they were all back to the pinch point, right? So they got an okay. I think it was the first year of Trump's presidency. They got an okay for a predation permit, and the predation job was given to the Native Americans. They had this big ceremony up where the pinch point was, which their CCA has a great video of. And they said, hey, here's your permit to get them. And here, there's 5 or 7 or whatever. So the chief of the tribe came forward and he said, I want to thank everybody so much, because not only will this allow the salmon to come back into Indian waters and we'll have food for ourselves, but in addition to that, we finally get our raincoats back. Now, the seal and the sea lion in California for Native Americans was used for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, not only for food and for the blubber, for lighting and heating and stuff, but the hide was used as one of their most valuable coats in all different types of weather. So that's what we've gone from, allowing the Native Americans to do their thing and saying how important it is for them to be, us to be diverse and equity and all of this stuff and include them. And then we took away their main source of food, clothing, and everything else.
Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. You get one? All right.
Catch us another yellowfin croaker.
I'll bring you all out there so you can watch them.
Yeah, let's check it out.
He'll get hooked up
Is
here
he
in a second.
fishing with the Akara jig?
Yeah. All right. Okay. Oh, sorry. I got to put my rugs back in. I had to clean them off. Yep, Ikaro.
We got to look into this, Justin. $129 for a lifetime Starlink.
Wow.
What do you mean?
That's what it says right there.
That's got to be fake.
If it's on the internet, it's not fake.
That's where I get all my information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like another storm is coming your way, Dave.
Yeah, it's going to fall apart quick.
Tropical storm Barbara. That would be our second tropical storm or hurricane maker of the season so far. So bad news for you, but good news for us up here on the California coast. That's going to push that much more warm water up this way. And there's two storms. There was one in front of it that gave us the south swell all the way from off Chile, I'd say. And then there's another one coming up about the middle to the end of this week, probably beginning of next week, from 6,000 miles away. It's way, way down there by Christmas Island below there off the tip of Australia. That's going to bring some head-high south swell here later this week. So, man, the water keeps warming up. Santa Barbara was 63 yesterday, 2 degrees warmer than last week. And San Diego and Dana Point and stuff is getting close to 70 degrees now. It's crazy.
Yeah, we got the earliest we've ever had a tropical storm happen last week. It was crazy.
Wow.
Came in at the end of May. But if you look at these storms, Bill, the really cool thing is because I'm leaving on Sunday for Alaska for 8 days, and I'm watching this close because my wife's going to be stuck down here at the house by herself. It looks like they both break up. There's two storms, one after the other.
Yeah, it is right here.
And they kind of break up and disappear, which is kind of cool.
All you're doing is dragging it like this.
Track of it.
Yeah, you know, it was really an odd situation. It's called the Fujiwara effect. And that was where there's a low that was coming down California. This is why it rained. Remember over the weekend how it was there thunderstorms and lightning and all that in Southern California? That was because of this Fujiwara effect where a cutoff low came down from Alaska, and then it met up with that cutoff low coming up from Mexico, and they joined their forces, and that was what happened. It's very unusual for this early time in the year for that to happen. So we'll just have to keep our eye on not only the South Pacific, but right off of Veracruz, Mexico, where all of these hurricanes and stuff occur. And what's really interesting meteorologically about that is that they rotate clockwise and sometimes counterclockwise in the Gulf of America, and then they come over that really small piece of land by Panama into the Pacific Ocean, and that's where they become a tropical storm and eventually a hurricane. So a lot of these swells we see in the summer or storms we see in Cabo this time of year all the way through the fall actually originate in the Gulf of America and come across land and then up the West Coast.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you'd start to learn about all this when you move down here. You got to pay close attention to it because you got to go get your water and you got to get some gas and you got to get ready. You have some weather events there, don't you, John?
Oh, yeah. We just started that a few days ago. And it's they try to predict where it's going to land, but they never right. It's always hitting where it's going to hit. But yeah, we've been through some pretty tough ones.
I got a question for you since we're here, and this is the place where everyone tells the truth. And Bill and I, we're going to talk about this right after.
There you go.
But where did all that? Oh, there he is,
Yellowfin croaker.
Nice, Rylan.
Hold on, I gotta get the pliers.
See it again. Show everybody. Look at that. Show that little whisker on his chin. That's how you can tell it's a
There,
There you
yellowfin.
go.
He's got a little whisker on his chin.
Let him go.
Good eating right
Yeah.
there.
Got him in the
He made
nose.
good bait.
Got him when he was smelling the bait.
That's
Let
The
it go.
Akara jig right there, Bill.
cool. I got to try one of those.
Justin and Rylan catch a
Okay.
bunch of fish on the back of the boat with that Akara jig from Promar. They're always catching fish. So back now that we saw that, I got to ask you a question why they're taking that fish off, John. Did anybody figure out where all that money we all donated to Katrina went?
Hell no.
Because they just did the same scam out here in California.
They
They did
look.
the same.
They've done it everywhere.
They raised
Yeah.
over $100 million for the fire victims
And it's
in
gone.
Malibu, in Palisades.
And it's gone. But you look, there was
Bill, where'd all the fucking money
Hey,
go?
this
Where'd all
is
the money go?
this was a good one. There was a whole bunch of fire trucks sent to California to help with the fires, but they got held up because all the trucks had to be checked and made sure they passed California emissions before they could come in and help.
So backwards, right?
I mean, what are you
Bozos.
worried about? You worried about emissions from a truck? Your freaking state's on fire.
Exactly.
I mean, what is that putting in the air?
And John, like that, where that all burnt, all those houses were really, well, a large number of those houses were built like in the 60s and early 70s. So they had asbestos, mercury,
Lead.
all this stuff. And it's on a hill that goes right down to the ocean. So you got air pollution, you got water pollution, all that. And then they want to worry about emissions on something that's going to put it out. So
Yeah.
the water doesn't get to the ocean. I mean, they are clueless.
Yeah, they have no idea.
Mm-mm.
No, it's just wild. When I heard about this fire thing, I was like, well, what about Katrina? I know we all donated a phenomenal amount of money to Katrina. And Kelly and I were down there 2 years ago delivering a boat. And I was shocked that all those mobile homes that are just setting, rotting, that they threw up all over. And
Yeah.
they just sat there and rotted and no one got to live in them or nothing.
No, none. But we had a freaked out rainstorm come through in 2016 on part of Baton Rouge and Denham and Walker and these areas over here. And I mean, in a matter of 10 hours, 12 hours, it dumped 48 inches of rain.
Wow.
So you know what it did. And they still ain't found the money yet. Still ain't
Amazing.
found it. It's like it's the same here as it is everywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, it comes here, but you never see where it goes.
Right.
You know, and
Exactly.
it's bad.
And we'll fall for the scam again the next time there's a disaster. They just fall for the scam every time. It's crazy. Yep. We're going to raise money for these people. Really? None of them ever see it.
Man, it was
It's
quite
like
a few.
you saw all this USAID money going to $22 million to Iran for Sesame Street and all that. Can you imagine over our lifetime how much money's been wasted? Like, think how much money they've given to Haiti over our lifetime for all their disasters. And it always gets absconded with and gone, and nobody can account for it. And then, just like you said, such a short memory, something happens 3 years later and they throw all this money on it and it all disappears again. And they do the same thing over and over and over again.
You know, I've learned one thing. If social media or the news starts putting out big content on this item that they're talking about, I don't ever pay attention to that because I try to look in the background because something else is coming worse than what they're talking about.
Right.
They cover it up. They create a diversion. You follow it, and then they slap you in the eyeball with something.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Put that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, gang, we're going to wrap this show up because we got a lot to do. Rylan, good job catching us a yellowfin croaker in the middle of the show. Great job, buddy.
Yep.
Thank you. We appreciated that. Everybody liked that, and I
Good job, Rylan.
guarantee you, Ben and Steve and Brian over at Promar really appreciated that. That was pretty wild, Justin.
What? So that was the Slimar reel. How'd you like it, Rylan? That's his first time using that reel.
Good.
What was the comment you said when you asked if we were muted?
It was really smooth when I casted it.
Nice.
I agree. I have that same
Really
reel
smooth.
I use in the lake for casting like those really light spinners, MEP spinners and stuff. Man alive, I'm not kidding. It casts almost twice as far as the competitor's reel that I was using before that. So I love that reel. Very smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth as silk.
Yeah, it's that rod and reel setup. I mean, that thing is freaking amazing. It's like the perfect combination.
Yeah, you can't beat a good Okuma rod and reel setup. That's for damn sure. Justin, what time are you fishing live tomorrow?
Maybe between 7 and 8.
You got Paul. Is Anthony coming?
Yeah. He's gonna let me know.
But Rylan will be there.
Yep, Deckhand
We're gonna
Rylan.
get to see Rylan in full form fishing tomorrow at Catalina. We're super excited, or wherever you're going, we don't even know. Wherever you end up, that's where we're going to see you tomorrow. John, I want to thank you very much for joining us today on the show. I think a lot of people really enjoyed watching you today. Thank you very much. We'll definitely have you on the show more. John, tell everybody how they can watch you Sunday. Justin and I and a bunch of us will be watching you Sunday, but let everybody else that's watching know.
Yeah, look, like I said, we got 3 shows that go Sunday. We got stand day, 2 stands, which he starts it early in the morning, and he runs to around 11 or 12. And then we got DSO, which is Danny Stone Outdoors, which is one of our pro staff members. And he takes up from there and fishes. Usually he'll fish until we start the RCT show, and we take it on from there. And there's no telling what time that show will end, because there's a whole lot of excitement goes on that show. That's for sure.
All right. Well, we'll be all tuned in. That's for damn sure. I can't wait to watch you guys and get to ask more questions about catfishing and gar fishing and all the other cool things. If we keep watching, maybe we'll even get to see an alligator, which for us on Southern California, it's a big deal. Justin's laughing at me right now, but
I mean, it can be interesting. That's for sure.
And Bill Varney, good luck in your 300-hour drive. Good luck.
Thank you. I'll have a good fishing report from Morro Bay next week. I'll be there for a few days over there for a wedding for my wife, but fishing for me, of course. And then Brent asked, when does the surf fishing clinic come up? That's July 26th at Bolsa Chica. It is filled, but I always keep a few spots available. So any of our saltwater guide folks who watch us on Wednesday want to come, just send me an email. I'll find a spot for you.
Nice. There you go. Justin, thank you for joining us today. Thanks for bringing your little buddy along. Yeah, you, Rylan. Yeah, you. All right. I love you guys.
My boy.
Thank you all very much.
What are we doing on Sunday?
What?
What are we doing on Sunday? What are we going to do on
church.
Sunday? We're going to be hiking, scouting. No, Sunday. So mommy can go. We're going to be scouting a new deer area.
Nice.
Wait, what do you mean Saturday?
No.
What?
Well, we can't have this whole conversation while we're live.
I love you guys.